Okay, so thank you very much for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it. You probably have seen some of the videos that we've done. We're just talking to sort of experts and sort of people in the field that are dealing with the kind of clients that that we deal with on a daily basis. So, and we're just trying to get an idea of what people do and hopefully promote their services and so on. So, can I just start by saying, could you just sort of introduce yourself, just sort of tell me who you are and yeah, what you do, kind of thing.
Yep, no problem. Morning, I'm Peter. I'm the assistive technology worker for the Kent Association for Blind down in Canterbury in Kent. I've worked with the KAB, who's the largest charity in Kent for visually impaired people since, well, I started volunteering in 2001 and became a paid member of staff in 2003. And I've solely worked on assistive technology, so computers and everything like that. KAB was actually this year celebrating our 100th anniversary, and
wow.
we had so many events and everything planned and booked for this year, but what we actually had to do in the end was have a virtual cup of tea with as many staff as we could and volunteers, and that on the Monday the 22nd of June. So yeah, we was founded in 1920 in response to servicemen blinded during the First World War. And
wow.
We last figures in 2009, we now actually support over 12,500 people with sight impairments in Kent.
Wow.
So we've been going quite a few years, and things obviously had to change quite a bit in the past. And as I say, I came to the KAB because they actually helped my mum. My mum lost sight through diabetes in the mid-1990s, and to the extent where she could only see outline of people, shapes and that, before she passed away. My dad became a volunteer, and until he passed away a couple of years ago, he was still a volunteer and was our longest serving volunteer for the KAB.
Wow.
And my role is along assisted technology. So I started as a volunteer in 2001, and then became a paid member of staff in 2003. And pardon the pun, it was an eye-opener, because by profession, I'm a long-distance lorry driver, but you hear about things that fall off backs of lorries, and I didn't. I've got a prolapsed disc, so a slip disc, but instead of coming out, it's gone slightly. So it's just touching the nerve of the spinal cord. So I had to find a new avenue. I built my own computer, but I knew nothing about assistive technology, and it's just grown from there.
Wow. Wow. And that's the thing. Wow, that's quite a transition from a lorry driver to this kind of stuff. So you're obviously a lot more active now.
Oh yeah. For about 2.5 years, I was in a neck brace. I couldn't drive. I could walk, but I was in 24/7 pain. I'm now on a blocking medication that blocks the signals from the nerve signals, so I don't feel the pain. But it's the main thing is I'm able to get out and help people and started a new career kind of thing.
That is good. And you mentioned their assistive technology, and obviously that it always crops up because that's the sort of, I mean, that's the field that we're in. But it always sort of amazes me the number of changes that happen really in a short amount of time. So assistive technology, as soon as you start talking about technology, there's always that assumption, oh, it's going to be sort of complicated. But the thing that's sort of interesting that's happened, at least in the last few years, sort of development of iPads and sort of touchscreen technology, and obviously Alexas and all this kind of stuff. And I guess, and I don't know whether I've sort of asked, I don't think I have asked anybody that does this kind of thing, but is it quite a lot of work to sort of keep up to date with it? As in, do you find you're having to sort of have some of the technology surrounding you just so that you know kind of what's going on with it all the time and trying to keep up?
Yeah, it definitely is the case. Trying to keep up with the pace of the technology is a full-time going thing because it's changing all the time. New system comes out, then a new operating system comes out, and then something else comes out. So yeah, trying to keep up to date with technology is always an issue, being a charity, but we try to keep up as much as possible. We've got actually two full-time AT workers and two part-time AT workers who cover Kent. And between us all, we try and keep up with the latest technology. And you learn things as you go along. You're never going to be an expert in everything, but you try to be as good as you can. And if you come up to a stumbling block where somebody asks you about something, you go, okay, no problem. Let me have a look into that, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I spoke to an optician that's been in the industry for years recently, and he was saying and it doesn't surprise me this, but he quite often learns about technology or apps or just normal access technology before he does, kind of thing. So he's sort of every few weeks he's getting educated. I think also the thing that's sort of interesting with assistive technology is that the mainstream products that are out there, they're becoming sort of more accessible, and they're making these sort of features. And I think sometimes sort of just as a regular kind of person that's just involved in day-to-day life with smartphones and so on, you kind of think, well, no, technology's not moved on that much. Yeah, there's Alexas, but that's the thing, you're dealing with it all the time, so it only seems like incremental.
Yeah.
But if you go and see somebody that's never seen anything like this before, you can blow their minds just with like an iPad or whatever. So it's and obviously it influences us as well with our products, because our sort of one of our flagship ones that we've launched recently, again, it's touchscreen based, and there was obviously the assumption it was never going to be an issue in the market, and it hasn't been. And because people are familiar with touchscreens, even if you could say, oh, well, that grandma or whoever doesn't have an iPad, it's like, yeah, but potentially they've probably been into a supermarket where they've done self-checkout and they've touched the screen, or they've been somewhere, people are aware of it. And I think there was always that fear originally with touchscreens, oh, there's no tactile feel, so is that a problem? But obviously, as soon as you increase contrast on things like buttons and so on, it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, definitely. We come across people who have got that stigmatism of, oh, it's a touchscreen, I can't see it, I can't use it. But you say changing contrast on the screens with the built-in stuff now, they're becoming more and more accessible as technology moves on. And then also having, as you say, the voice back. So in iOS, VoiceOver, Android, TalkBack, a lot of people actually don't realize they're built in until you actually go and shut and they go, oh, I never knew that. And things like Siri or OK Google, they are becoming so helpful for someone with a vision impairment. I've got a colleague who's got no use of vision. He uses his iPhone for every day-to-day tasks, banking, text messages, phone calls. He says to Siri, cool.
That is fantastic. Nice. What would you say is sort of the most requested sort of help that people want with like day-to-day life or work or whatever it is? What's sort of like the common theme, do you think?
Well, it goes again with the technology, how technology has changed. In the past, it used to be needed help with a computer or their home desktop or whatever, but now it is literally the portable technology, their phones, their tablets, even possibly laptops. Because they're so portable, they can take it out and use it wherever. They could have something read back to them. If they've got something in front of them, they can magnify. So it's our clientele, the majority of our service users are in the older age bracket, so the more retired people. But we get requests for all entries, from workplaces to Mrs. Smith just down the road who wants to be able to read audio books from the RNRB reading services or something, so on a tablet. So it's all avenues really.
No, that's good. And how do people find out about your service? So outside of, well, in fact, actually, I'm not going to load the question. How do people find out about KAB? Because I know it's, like say, it's a huge organisation, and obviously 12,000 people. It's a lot of people to sort of look after. How do they come across you guys?
Yeah, the thing with the KAB is we, I think I said earlier, we've got 3 site centres, Maidstone, which is our head office, Canterbury, Bromley, and then we've also got 2 teams within social services buildings in Gravesend and Medway. And we have rehab workers working out of all of our offices, and also we have ECLOs, eye clinic liaison officers in East Kent and West Kent are in the hospitals. So if someone gets registered, the ECLO is there, that they can help them and then refer to the KAB if need be. And we are we obviously sorry. Oh, sorry, Mark. Somebody's just tried to call me. Sorry.
That's all right.
There, I've cancelled it. Sorry. Bit of editing for it.
Yeah, that's all right.
And some of our services are commissioned to the local authorities, so for healthcare and that. So people find out about us. Sometimes it's people going to the website, KAB website, through the hospitals, through social services, through other departments, and that referring through to the KAB. So, and obviously word of mouth sometimes as well. Say we've been there 100 years, and we
people should know you.
But yeah, we get new referrals all the time.
Brilliant. And what do you think are the biggest challenges that you face? I mean, interpret the question however you want, but sort of with assisting people, or what's kind of your biggest challenge, as it were?
I think one of the answers is, I might have already said it, is trying, and we both joked about it, is trying to keep up with the technology. Yeah. I say to people, and I take it as a pun or take it as it's an eye opener. It really is, of what can be done to help people, and it's trying to keep up with the resources, trying to get hold of a piece of device to say, oh, we can now learn how to use this or this new way, so we can show people. And sometimes it comes that we don't hear about it until somebody asks us about it, and it's like, okay, yeah, leave it with us, and we'll see what we can do. But that's our biggest challenge, is trying to keep up with the pace. And obviously sometimes there is, which is always not an issue, but always a little bit of a downer, is that sometimes because there's only 2 full-time rehab workers, 80 workers, and 2 part-time workers that cover the whole of the county. Sometimes there's a little bit of a waiting list to get to see people. During this pandemic, it's obviously a different matter at the moment. But we've all had to learn how to use other accessibility softwares to get into people. I actually learned very quickly when it first locked down. I had a lady who uses one of the screen readers, JAWS, no sight, but between the use of her iPhone using FaceTime, I talked her through that. She had a problem with a laptop, but using her iPhone, I was able to get her to FaceTime and turn it around to the screen, was able to get the connection made, and I was able to sort her computer out. So you kind of had to learn very, very quickly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it might have taken an hour or 2 on the phone and using a remote support service, Quick Assist or whatever, but we was able to sort the issue out. She was locked down in her house and nobody could get to her, and we sorted it. And it actually, I know it can sound a little bit, I don't know, weird, big-headed. When you've actually helped somebody, and this is down to even when we was having people coming into the site centres and going out and seeing people, and you actually walk away from there and you've made a difference to someone, it does give you a bit of a good feeling.
Yes.
You've actually helped somebody. They can now do, or they can see a light at the end of the tunnel, because they haven't been able to do something before, but now they can. Or they're on the way to do it. Sometimes it may take a session. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 sessions. We can be quite flexible as well.
No, that's good. I think, again, it's a common theme that's come up while I'm talking to everybody, and I'm sure there are probably plenty of jobs out there that do offer this kind of level of satisfaction, but I'm not aware of them, kind of thing, and I feel very fortunate to be involved in that, because you can, like you've just said there, you can make such a difference. And with having access to so much technology, there's not often things that, there might be edge cases of hobbies where you need to give it a little bit more thought of what's really going to help them. But in the majority of cases, a large majority of cases, there's always going to be something out there that's going to be able to do what they need it to do. And I think sometimes, especially if you're talking sort of elderly, probably in your position, say more than ours, because if people come to us, they tend to sort of know about the technology that's out there. But if you go into a centre and say, look, there's probably not going to be anything that can help me, but I want to be able to read the newspaper. I'm really missing it. And you think, well, wow, that's like, that's really easy to solve. This will do it for you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I do think, I mean, again, it's been said time and time again, but I do think this lockdown has had a very positive impact on sort of people's ability to help people remotely. So rather than needing to jump in the car and drive however many miles to go and sort something out that maybe only takes a few minutes, like say, if you're doing it remotely and if it's the first time they've done it, hey, maybe it takes an hour, but at the end of the day, the result is still there, and they're more than happy. So yeah, and they don't have to share your tea and biscuits with you.
I've actually had a joke with some people saying, oh, well, they've offered a virtual cup of tea or whatever, and it's like, yeah, no. But yeah, no, it is. It can make you've got it quite right there with this lockdown. And okay, things are starting to be lifted, but obviously some of the things we can still help out someone remotely. And it can make a difference. They haven't got to wait for somebody to go out and see them. I even helped out a gentleman the other week. Okay, we did in the end have to wait for his partner to come home because there was something not happening with his computer and he'd got no sight whatsoever. But I said to him, well, look, don't worry, not a problem. When are they home? He said, oh, they don't get home till 6. I said, that's all right, no problem. I'll ring you back at 6:30 and we'll do it. And we was on the phone for about half hour, about 3/4 of an hour, and we sorted the issue out. He could now print again. Because that was his biggest issue. He got access software. He needed to scan something. It just wasn't working. And his partner had no idea about the technology, how to fix the issue. But we did it remotely and sorted it out. And he was halfway up the county. So it was,
and Kent is a big area.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You can easily, if you have to go from one end of the county to the other with some of the roads, you can spend hour and a half, 2 hours on the road, depending on where you're going and stuff. So it's if we can try and help somebody out, we will.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Excellent. Well, thank you very, very much for your time. I really appreciate you. I know, obviously, you're kind of mega busy at the moment. But just wanted to say thank you very much, and thanks for all the support and everything. It's been really good. I know you joined us for some of our, or most of our webinars, and it's been excellent. It's always good to sit down and have a chat. It was funny because I don't think I've drank that much like tea and coffee that I have done over this period, and I thought, oh, maybe it's just me. I probably ought to sort that out. And I read a report, and I can't remember how much. I feel sure it was on the BBC. It was, well, unsurprisingly, but millions or billions or whatever of pounds that have been spent on tea, coffee, and biscuits during this time. It's
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But these on which you've done as well as others, these videos and forums, that is a great way of actually trying to keep up with that technology and learning. So we put it down as professional development because it's a way of us trying to learn at the same time.
Yeah, well, and that also, just from our side as well, it's good because quite often it's always a bit of a rush if we're calling by society, so you don't always get a chance to have a chat with people.
Exactly.
And now that we can, it's great because you can just have like an informal chat and you can find out about things. So it's good. Yeah. Brilliant. Excellent. Right, I shall let you go, and no doubt I will see you soon.
Okay then, all the best. See you, Mark.
Ciao.
Bye now.
Take care. Bye.